So this featured feature is about the options that you now have on the appointment scheduler, including the ability to generate scope of appointments and ACA consent forms. So if we go to settings and we go to,
I'm sorry, but can we use this here in place of Calendary?
yeah, yes.
Okay,
Let me, excuse me, let me go through the feature and then we'll be able to ask any questions after I just do a very brief little presentation.
go ahead, go ahead.
Absolutely. So settings, and then you go to appointment scheduling, click edit, and you can add a new schedule. You can add as many schedules as you want, actually. So, if you've got something where it's like you want a 30-minute window versus a 60-minute window versus a 90-minute window, you can do that. So let's say this is for 30 minutes. The category might be Medicare eligibility because, and maybe for that reason, I'm actually going to budget 70 minutes. I'm going to do, so the appointment category is really important because then when you're booking that appointment, you can have the appointment reminders go out that are very specific to that appointment category. Also, you wouldn't, if you sell both Medicare and you sell ACA, for example, you wouldn't want a scope of appointment going out to an ACA client. So that's one of the main reasons why this category is so critical. So here we're going to have the first appointment start time. Maybe I want that to be 9 o'clock instead of 8, Monday through Friday. Maybe during AEP, I also do Saturdays. And then here we've got the number of days to schedule. So during AEP, I would probably do 30 days in advance. Most of the year, I'm going to put probably a 2-week window just in case I want to sneak away for a vacation in a few weeks. Days before first appointment. If you leave it as 0, that's going to allow people to book the same day. So they could book on the same day exactly. If you are selling Medicare, you need that 48-hour rule. So I would recommend 3 days before the first appointment, just so that they've got time to sign the SOA. Maybe you want to just do 2, up to you. Now we have this option for not before. So if you didn't want to do it before today's date being the 7th, which is, the start of Medicare, and then through December 7th, because maybe this is specific to Medicare. So these appointments are only available during this window. And then I'm going to put AEP 2024, for example. The sales blurb can be something like, I'm licensed in all states for Medicare coverage, blah, blah, blah. Like you could even put your disclaimer in there, disclaimer, whatever you want to type, right? Then the instructions can be fill all of this out. If you are an existing client, please refer to the email I sent with your name, phone, email, so that your current record is updated with your appointment. And then the confirmation thank you page. This is probably the only time I will tell you, duplicate a tab and go to landing pages to grab a confirmation page. So let's say it's just this meeting confirmation. Copy that, paste it into this. Okay. And then down here, we're going to put in the location. So maybe you're going to do this via phone or Office or Zoom. So let's put in 1 North Maple Drive, Beverly Hills, California, 90210. Maximum appointments per time slot. It's always going to be 1 unless it's a seminar or a group meeting, because you don't want people to double book the time. So even if a spouse might attend, it's still going to just be 1, unless you want a seminar, which you could put up to 100 people can book for the same meeting. You have to select a user. So I'm going to select myself as the user. I can select additional data fields to request. So that way you can kind of build a form with just the appointment scheduler. So benefits requested, things like that. Now, this is where it's really fun. We now have this availability for you to create an SOA directly from that appointment that's booked. Put in my sales rep ID. That's going to do this. So maybe you put the online scheduler as the initial method of contact. So another thing with with CMS and specifically with Medicare plans, you need to say what plans and organizations you work with during the meeting. So maybe this is for, maybe we specify that this link is for people who are living in California. So maybe that California number is slightly different. So I only have 10 organizations with 100 or 18 plans for that California one specifically. So you can edit this. So it's defaulting from what the main account setup is, but you can customize it to the actual scheduler that you're building. Now I'm going to hit submit on this. And I think I called that AAP 24. It is warning me that I chose a not busy category. Do you see that there? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy my little link so I can go back to it later. But to get that not busy fixed, I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to tasks and appointment reminders, edit, and then Medicare eligible. I'm going to switch that to, instead of it being a reminder, I'm going to say it's busy and it's task, and I can show my appointment options, and maybe I change it to a red. So now my category will be marked as busy. Remember before when I was showing the instructions here, actually, let me just go to those instructions. So here's my little schedule. I see schedule an appointment now. Choose the dates and times to schedule an appointment. I'm licensed in all states. So that was my sales blurb. And then it's saying what dates are unavailable and then what days are available. So if I wanted to book for the 10th at 7:10 a.m., I can then look for all of this stuff and then see where it says your appointment will be on this date at this location. And these were my instructions. Fill out all this information. If you're an existing client, please refer to the email I sent to you with your name, phone number, etc., so I can update the record. What do I mean by that? So if you go here, my recommendation to you is go into templates and create a template for schedule availability. So let me see, schedule. Do I have anything like that? No. So let me build one really fast. Appointment availability. So you've got your agent profile image, you've got hello first name. Please choose a time from the calendar. Make sure you use the following information so that your profile gets updated. Feel free to, we can update any details on our meeting or by you filling out the notes. Thanks. So name equals name, phone, and email. Just so that way they know what that is, what their information is. So that's going to pull from their file. So when you send it, it's going to populate that information. Ooh. Also, what I should have done is add in the button to put the schedule in. So choose a time, a date and time here. I'm going to paste that URL. I can make this a different color if I don't like that blue. And then I'm going to save that template. So now if I go into somebody's file and they're like, oh yeah, I want to book that meeting, or maybe you send it via an automated workflow so that you're asking your leads and clients to book a meeting with you. If I hit send email and I choose that appointment availability too, it's going to show all of the availability, but it also will have name, Sally Stevens, phone, this, email, this. So why is this important? Because if she spells her name Sally Stevens with an IE instead of the Y like I had, a new record will be created for her. And that's a bummer because then you've got duplicate files. But if I go back to so if I go back to lead, it'll come in through as a lead. So now I've got Sally Stevens here. And it'll tell me that it was created through the appointment scheduler. But if I go back to the my little woozy watsy, let me see if I can get back there. No, I can't. So I'll send this email, try to grab that again. Okay. So now this time, if I book another appointment for Sally Stevens at email@email.com and the same phone number, 6298. And then even if she fills out other information, it doesn't matter. These are the 3 fields that the system is going to check against. Because somebody might have the same name. Sally Stevens is kind of common. She might share an email with her husband, Roger Stevens. That's not the same person. Or she might share a phone number. So that's why all 3 criteria need to match. It's kind of annoying, but that's just the way it is. So update my name to Sally Stevens. Create that appointment. So now if I go back into my clients, she'll now have that appointment in her record. And so if I open that up, I will see that and I'll see that note that I just put into. All right, now it's time for questions. Oh, and I should also say that would have generated the scope of appointment automatically. So here, if we go here, now we see that we've requested that scope of appointment for that person's file. We can send her another follow-up email, send her a text, or we can open it for a signature and then have her just sign it like that. So that's the auto generation of the scope of appointment, or if it was an ACA, it would be for the ACA consent. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question on when the meeting notice passes over to like their Google Calendar or different things. If they want to take notes on it, it needs to be in Odyssey. Like they couldn't put notes on their meeting notice in, from their Google Calendar and it transition over here, correct? It has to be
Correct.
entered. Okay. Would the notes from here transfer over to a Google Calendar?
Yeah, so if they create it, it should pull over into the notes within, like when they create it and it has the note area, it should transfer over into the Google Notes. Like
Okay.
if it comes through the Radius calendar from another, usually it'll have like a note that says created in Google. I don't think I've got any examples of that, but
Okay.
it should have that pushed through, yes.
Okay.
But my advice is whenever you actually have that meeting to go into the person's file, because you'll need that access anyway. And
Yeah.
so always update here, because additionally, you'll notice that there's this anticipated outcome This is a
Mhm.
really helpful way. Just so you know, Joanne, Becky has a larger team. So if they start using this sale made with this anticipated outcome, and then they update and save it, I think they have to save it, and then they can like update the task itself. They can complete it when it's done. So I'm going to complete this task. Now that's done, and I made that sale. Now you as an admin can run a report on all of the appointments that have had a sale made. And you can see like the differentiation between who's closing on their first meeting versus their third meeting versus none, right? So
Right. So do those notes, oh, right, the outcome piece on that. So do those notes that once we complete the task, do those notes, can we go pull it up at the client level on their file?
yeah, the
from that
notes
meeting?
for the task itself live with the appointment. So you would have to, in that case, I completed that appointment, but you still see it here, right? So that
Right.
completed that.
Okay.
But if I go back to her file, you'll notice that you can look for previously completed tasks. So if I
Okay.
complete this, complete, okay, I think I did the wrong one. Do you see where it says show completed?
Yeah.
Now you can click on that and go in there. We just hide the completed ones, so that way you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it.
But does the archive stay in there if we have to want to go back and look for
It stays in
completed
there, but
tasks?
you just have to hit show completed
Oh,
tasks.
got it.
We
Okay.
just have it hidden by default because like there's already so much information.
Yeah.
Follow-up notes, it
Yeah.
says, so like if you, so let's say that we did this. So we did this as sale made. She updated to a new plan G plus on BCBS still,
Mhm.
right? So that's it. So we have to hit update on that. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You have to hit save on that. I wish that I need to get them to change that. So she updated to G plus on BCS. Save. Okay, great. Now I can close that out.
Okay.
So if I've saved that, and then you should have a note in here. So that appointment
Oh, okay.
radius will go in here.
Okay, that's nice.
But the caveat is, and again, this is something that I'm going to have for my 2024 priorities, because I know we're not going to get to it this year. We'll make it cleaner. So that way, like, it's more understandable that you have to hit save to change anything here where you're making notes.
Mhm.
But if you want to update the task, that's where like, it's like, oh, she missed the meeting. And so I'm moving it to a different date. Do you know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So save for any changes, update if you want to update the actual date
Got it.
or location or something like that. Yeah. Any other questions on this,
Nope. I think that's good.
Joanne? I know you had asked about the Calendly replacement earlier, and it should be able to do that for you. The only reason why I'm not switched over yet is because currently we don't have a way for me to put like at different days for the same category. Like you can build a category for each day, but that's kind of annoying for your clients to have to choose from. So my demo calendar, I intentionally make it so that way it's Mondays on the early side, Tuesdays on the late side, Wednesdays on the early side. So that way people have like options to choose from, because our clients, you know, have super busy schedules. So I'm trying to make it fairly random. So hopefully they'll be able to attend one of the days. And because of my randomness and my limited availability for each different kind of thing that I do, I have to keep using Calendly. But our goal is that we can have it be a full replacement. But I'm the exception to the rule, right? Most of you guys are setting a meeting specific to like selling them life insurance or selling them an ACA policy or selling them a Medicare policy. So for that, because all of your availability will be based off of just whatever other meetings you have, it's not like they're choosing from a wide spectrum of time options rather than mine, which are like you know, you can do a client work session on these days and times. You can do a demo on these days and times. You can do a featured feature on these days and times. So my schedule is the exception to the rule, which is why they didn't do it exactly the way I wanted it yet. So, yeah.
I do have another question.
Sure.
Okay, so like I put a lot of my appointments, like doctor's appointments and whatever, in Google.
Mhm.
Will that populate over into this calendar so that it blocks out those particular times?
Okay, so two things. Remember when we did the task and reminder categories? We click edit.
Yeah.
You've been with us for a little while now, so I'm not sure if you have this or not, but see how I have a task calendar for Google Calendar item here?
Okay.
If you don't have that, or if you don't have, it might also be called created in Google. So
Okay.
if you don't have that, just add one in and make sure that it's busy, right?
Uh-huh.
The next step is you're going to go to account, my information, access, and you're going to scroll down to set up your Google Calendar. You're
I've
going
already got
to
the Google Calendar set up.
Okay, good. So then the other part of that, let me, it always messes my
I
calendars.
think I ran a test and I think it did work.
Okay, good. So let me just show you though, the one thing to be aware of, just since this is a recorded thing. So hopefully this will show you this. So it says that my calendar is linked, but do you see how it says no synchronization? So
Yes.
that means that it's not syncing yet. I have to choose the calendar because a lot of times you're going to have
Yes.
multiple Google calendars with the same account. So I'm going to hit sync to this calendar. Oops, it's not going to let me do it because of the fact that I've got this in too many places. But so you sync to that calendar and then you're going to choose to set the default task category as the created in Google task. So that way it shows up easily in your calendar and you know what was a Google thing, what was a Radius thing. And then the last part of it is there's an option that says push all existing tasks and reminders. It'll push everything from the past 2 weeks into the calendar and then going forward. Just so that way it's not like trying to pull things from like 2020, which would junk up your calendar, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's how you would do that. Is that clear?
Yeah, I'll figure it all out. You know,
Perfect.
I'm good at doing that.
You are. Well, and then also you can always go to the help app and then calendar,
Yeah, right.
and this is there for you. And it does give you
The step by step.
step with the very specific, like the push to all existing tasks and reminders example that I showed. And then the task category, the default task category as well. So yeah, hopefully that helps. I'll put that into the Zoom chat for you. I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording.